grow rail freight, and we think not only will it grow, probably it'll double in 10 or 15 years, but actually it probably needs to grow more than that if the government's going to have any chance in achieving its 80% carbon reduction targets by 2050. I know that's 40 years away, but it's a long way away. But on the other hand, the policies need to start now. And to do that, not only do we need the capacity on the network and the structure, but we also need terminals. We thought the terminal process was going quite well with the last government. Finally got the Planning Act through, and there was a special category for large terminals which were going to facilitate more terminals being built around the country where they were required. Now the government's thrown everything up in the air and hasn't come down with any alternative. So the terminal developers aren't very happy because they've got no certainty of what they apply for will be able to be built. And these things cost a lot of money. It might cost 10 million even to get permission for a big terminal, so they don't want the risk. So government's got to actually come up with a planning regime which works. We have to have a structure which is compliant with the European regulations and which gives freight the same rights to operate on the tracks as passengers. That's the most important thing, and I'm hoping that the government will announce that before too long, and that it'll come out right. I don't mind regionalisation of Network Rail. I think that's a good idea. It gives local delivery for maintenance and renewals and some possessions, provided they're integrated with the whole. But the basic structure of the railway, the timetabling, the charging, the standards, and having a 24/7 railway, that must be done nationally. Lastly, it's back to capacity on the network, and I think what we should have to be looking for in the future is if the passenger franchises are going to have 15 to 20 years duration, then I think there should be a freight plan on the railways to have the same duration with guaranteed capacity for growth. Oh, there's some good news stories. In fact, yesterday I accompanied the Minister of Transport, Teresa Villiers, on the first passenger train. It was a special train on the route from Southampton to the West Midlands, which has now been gauge cleared, which means that 9'6" boxes can be carried on standard wagon flats. Now, amazingly, about two weeks later, the announcement yesterday was that the gauge had been cleared to the same gauge from Felixstowe to Nuneaton via Peterborough. This is a bit of a coincidence, but it does mean that both ports are getting the gauge at the same time, and they like competing, and it's good that they do. So you've got gauge from the two major ports to add on to what's already in the London gauge. And it does mean that in the future, when the signalling is complete on the direct line from Felixstowe to Nuneaton, that there'll be many more trains able to go there, and saving some of the train paths through London, which tends to get a bit congested.